Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your DevOps SRE DevSecOps coach. Okay, so today we'll try to cover this part of it, which is cloud computing and benefit of its service types, and then we'll move on to architectural and services. So this one we covered at a high level first session already, but we'll conclude today and then move to the networking. So here this will carry almost 25% to 30%. Conceptual things will carry 20% to 25, 30% up to the 30% on ages 900, and architecture and services introduction it will cover 35%. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so what is cloud computing? So I think most of us understand that, so I'll not drag this topic more. Cloud computing where we want the few resources with resources. So we want the resources which is compute. Okay, compute in simple way, if you say CPU and RAM, which is compute, virtual machines basically. And then you want the network. Okay, network means private network you want. Let's say your house is also having one network, right? Let's say if you're getting the internet from Geo. So Geo is giving everyone the internet, but you are having the one of the network which is protected. Let's say you are staying in building, 50 flats are there, 50 flats are using Geo, but you have your own network, and the laptop which is in your network, home network, cannot connect to the laptop which is running in your neighborhood network. So you need a network services basically. Okay, in the cloud also, when you run some compute, like in home what you run laptop and mobile, but in cloud platform you will run virtual machines. So when you run a virtual machine, there should be one network which will protect your compute resources. So you need a networking. So first thing, you need a compute in the cloud, and then you need a networking. Then third important thing, you need a storage. How do we store it? Because compute is a ephemeral basically. Ephemeral means uh, it will lose, I mean, you destroy the VMs and you lose the data. So it's ephemeral. That means how can we have the data persistent beyond the life cycle of the virtual machines? So these are the three things you want. Okay, now option number one which you have, let's say today you are launching the product, and you want hundreds of servers. So you option number one, you buy the hundreds of servers and pay for upfront cost and keep on running all the time, 24 by 7, 365 days in a days. That's option number one. Or option number two, go to the cloud platforms, cloud service providers, and you get the same machines, use it, pay for the only time which you use it, and then move on. So now you understand that why we use cloud, because of we are having model of enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources, network, servers, storage, applications, and services. So that means it's a pool of configurable resources which you can use it, and you pay for only what you can use it, and you can get it on demand. That can be rapidly provisioned and released within a minimal management effort or service provider interaction. So that's called cloud computing. Now, who's empowering the cloud computing? Let's say Azure you have, Google Cloud you have, AWS we have. You can create a cloud computing in a laptop also. It's not like cloud computing is something which is great, you cannot develop it. You can develop in your laptop also cloud computing. There is one software which is called OpenStack. Have you heard about this tool? Hello?
No.
No.
Yeah. So this software, OpenStack, it's a free software, you can use it. See here. So you say today if you think you want to create your own AWS. So I'm putting in a simple way, okay, not using the complicated keywords. You want to set up your own AWS, or you want to set up your own Azure in your laptop, or in your, let's say you buy 5 hard disk and 5 compute servers, and you want to set up your own laptop and provide these services to your student. So you can do that. So that is something which is possible. Okay, so AWS has done at the large scale. That is the difference. You cannot do at the large scale. You set up, you use it, and then get it done. So hypervisor. So who's empowering your cloud servers? So there is one category of software which you call it a hypervisor. So hypervisor is a software which basically runs your virtual machines. Okay, which create virtual machines. So I think you guys have used the virtual box, right? All of you, virtual box at least, or VMware.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is your minimal hypervisor, very small scale hypervisor, which can create a VM. VMware Workstation is free, VirtualBox is free. You can go ahead and use Hyper-V is free. So these are the small level, but we have a large scale also, like VMware vSphere. VMware vSphere, you can run the large data centers. So we have one list of categories which is called hypervisor, and which is basically managing your virtual machines, creating a virtual machine, stopping this, deleting it, and all kind of things. Now these are the list of hypervisors you have. Now for the certification purpose, you need to know some of these hypervisor. For example, you should focus on Hyper-V. Okay, so Hyper-V is from the Microsoft. Okay, so I would suggest you please install it once. Basically, it's in Windows. Most of the time you have to, it will be inbuilt. You will enable it and then you'll start using it. So Hyper-V. I think VirtualBox I have given a training last week only, so you might have gone through that. Or something like VMware, which is very popular. So VMware has a multiple product, depends on the label of you want it. So you have a VMware Workstation, Fusion, vSphere, EXXI, and many softwares we have. They are primarily in the VMs world, and then so on. So these are the popular hypervisors we have. Mind it, OpenStack is not a hypervisor. The listing is not for hypervisor, but it OpenStack can use a multiple hypervisor to create a VM. That means you can say it's like a OpenStack is like a web-based console. In the backend, it uses the hypervisor to get your VMs done. It's like your own AWS creating. Okay, so that is something which you have. So virtualizations in computing, virtualization refers to the act of creating virtual rather than actual version of something. Okay, including virtual computer, hardware platform, operating system, storage, network, and stuff like that. So virtual hypervisor, the VM which it create, basically that refer as a virtualization. That means virtualization means in a simple way, say you have one computer and in that computer you want 10 more computers. So what to do? Virtual computers, something like that. So that is a architecture which you have, and you need to understand. So I would like to tell you here the model which you need to remember that. So here, let's say here you have a hypervisor. Okay, and then, sorry, this is the hardware. This is the hardware, and on top of that you install the kernel. We don't need operating system, we just need a kernel. What is the difference between operating system and kernel? All of you, all of you, hello?
So kernel is a core. It deals with the CPU and core CPU and memory management. Well,
Yeah,
operating system
so
is on top of it.
yeah, so kernel basically you can say is a kind of programs, is a code which can help you to connect with the hardware, and then human layer means user layer. Okay, so this is the kind of interface. Now what when I say sorry, when I say operating system is a larger set. So operating system means it has a kernel plus many other software which is required by users. Okay, so please remember that. So kernel, we have a two kernel in the whole world. Which are the kernel? Can you please tell me? We are using widely. I mean, there are many kernels, but we are using 2 kernels widely. Hello?
One is the Linux.
Yes. Yeah. And one is Windows. Now using Linux, there is a lots of variant has come. Okay. That is one of the families, Fedora family, Ubuntu family, CentOS family, Red Hat, all this thing with different 40 different variables, variant we have for this Linux kernel. So these all operating system has been developed using Linux kernel. For the Windows kernel has been used for the Windows 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, all these things. You know that very well. So likewise. So now here you have hardware on top of that kernel. You know in operating system. Okay. So let's not talk about that. And that kernel you have a hypervisor. Here you install the hypervisor. And now hypervisor is here, and then this hypervisor manage the VM. So you create one virtual machines, okay, in the virtualized machine, one more VM. And now this VM will be, what happens, understand that this VM also and this VM also powered by kernel. Understand that it's not by hypervisor is just a managing it, so powered by kernel only, but what happens, this software ask kernel to virtualize that means this will have their own operating system. Okay, this will have their own kernel, and this will have their own kernel. See that? So here also you have one kernel, here also you have kernel, here also a kernel, but this kernel get the resources allocated from this kernel, and this kernel talk to the hardware. So that kind of virtualizations which is done by hypervisor actually. So then now we have a kernel, sorry, and then now you run applications inside this. Okay, so this is the VM1 we call it, and this is the VM2. Now this kernel or operating system, it come from the image. Okay, this typically we call it a machine image or OS image, machine image or OS image. Got it, all of you?
Um, Hello.
Yeah.
So here, the hardware in the sense, we can take it as data center, right? One big data center in terms of Azure.
Right, yeah, and this hardware basically, I'll share with you the image of it. That will be easier. Azure cluster, and mm, just a second. Box. Not able to see that immediately. Okay, so I'll show you that. Just a second, hold on. My PPTs will be having that data somewhere. Okay, so the it will be like this. See here. So the left side you see is from the Amazon. Okay, that's a hardware. So what happened? They have a rack, basically we call it rack of CPUs, rack of memories, rack of storage, and like that. So they have a rack. So this will be Amazon left side. Right side you see it's from Microsoft, and downside Google Cloud. Now if you see that, they develop this one, and then the moment you in power on, they get hell lot of storage, hell lot of CPU, hell lot of RAM. Now this is being virtualized by they have a virtualizations in place, and you, when you talk to, let's say, Azure portal, you log in and you say I create a VM. So basically those requests to the website make it the interface to the virtualized hypervisor to which is installed here, and they make a VM and then get you that one. Understood?
Okay. Yes, yes.
So this is a hardware for you, I mean for Azure. So this is something which we do that. So yeah, so virtualizations, some virtualized virtualizations, whatever you want to call it. allows for the scale of abstraction to increase over time. So run one process within certain resource limit. Okay. OPSIS has a virtual memory, virtual CPU, virtual storage, file system. Now run multiple process within a certain resources limit. Okay, so resource containers, virtual servers, Linux, virtual image, Docker. Run the entire operating system within a certain limit, which include virtual machine technology like a VMware, Xen, and KVM. Run the set of virtual machines connected via private network, and run the virtual, uh, you know, private virtual architecture for every customers. So this is something which is like a virtualized world, which is creating abstraction. So right now you are more focused on the third one, run an entire operating system within a certain limits. Now, I don't know how many of you have learning on the Docker and Kubernetes. So if you are going the Kubernetes, that is also virtualized environment, but as a multiple resources within a certain resource limit. Okay. So that is something which is different. So when you want to understand the cloud computing at a glance, you have to always remember three things. Okay, if someone asks you what is a cloud computing, so first you will say definitions for it, which we discuss, and then you will followed by you'll say characteristics of it, models of it, service model for it, and deployment models for it. Okay, so this is the three things you should remember. Essential characteristic, we have five, three models we have, and then four deployment, three service model we have, and then three deployment models, four deployment models. So what are the characteristics? So any cloud will become any infrastructure which is offering the compute environment, network environment, storage environment. You can say cloud. You can say cloud when these five characteristics are met. So let's say today you decide to set up your own AWS. Okay, you go ahead and buy five boxes. Okay, five hardware, and then you set up a OpenStack and or vMware or something like that, and you decide to serve all this your own. So how can you say you're a cloud? So cloud computing has a five essential characteristics. That is on demand. On demand means, uh, can I go to your platform and create a computer, create a servers, create a compute unit when I need? Is it possible? Yes or no? So in AWS, in Azure, in Google Cloud, it is possible. So it's on demand. So yes, that's a cloud computing. Then broad network access. Do you have a access? Do you have a ways to access that resources from your home? Is it possible? So in Azure, how it is possible? Tell me. Anyone have idea how it is possible? How can you access that resources which is in the Azure? All of you? Hello?
Through virtual missions, we can VPC and we can connect. We can create virtual missions and then we can connect it through SSH if it's Linux, or if it's Windows, we
Ah,
can connect to OT.
see, the concept is very simple. So this is your Azure, okay? And now in the Azure, this is your network, okay? So think in simple way always. This is your apartment and this is your flat, okay? And now you are running one boxes here. The same model, it's very simple to understand, okay? So this is your laptop. Right now you are using laptop, which is inside your home network, and home network is a part of your apartment network that is powered by Jio or maybe Airtel. Okay, so how can I access? So this is your, let's say you are in Hyderabad. Okay, but right now I am based out in Delhi. Okay, so the question is very simple. Can I access this machine? You tell me. Can I access your laptop from my home? Can I access? All of you?
Yeah,
How?
VPN.
VPN, see, VPN is one of the way to encrypt the communication. It's not for accessing. Remember that. VPN is whatever, see, I will send you some chat, okay, and you will respond to me, okay, and we both, the channel should be encrypted and protected from the hacker who's doing the. Have you heard about this OSI model?
Yes.
Yeah. So to protection from the OSI model, that means all the network communications packet which travels, you want to protect that. So, or the network layer. See, this is the network layer. So that VPN we use for the protection of the network layer. Okay. So that is a different thing. But the question is, before protection, it has to be connected, right? So how
Mm-hmm.
can we connect?
With routers.
So here you cannot connect. If I ask you, can you connect to the Azure VM? You cannot connect. Yes. Can you connect to the AWS? You cannot connect. Google Cloud, you cannot connect. Can I connect to your laptop in your home? You cannot connect. Why? Because this machine is there, is in the one home network. You have one machine, two machines, and this machine is a local network, LAN. So outside of the connection, the scope of this network is local. So you cannot connect. By default, the route this route ARP is blocked basically for the network. So what has to be done? What has to be done? So now Geo will say, hey, I have access to this network also, and I have access to this network also. Correct? No? Geo have access to both the network. Agree? Yeah, Geo can access your machine also, this machine also. Okay, I mean Geo, I mean there's a way to do that. So now Geo says, listen, because I have access to both the network, what I will do, I will give you one IP address at this network. IP address. This is a global network, okay? And I will give you IP address, and when you hit this IP address, what I will do, I will redirect the traffic to this IP address. And then you are hitting to this IP address, but you are basically request you going to forwarding. This is called forwarding the request to your VMs. I mean the laptop. So now you have to go and talk to Geo and say, hey, give me the static IP address. Then Geo will say, I'll charge you 1,000 rupees per month. You can do that, yeah. Anyone can do that. So this is called static IP address, public IP address, and this IP address is a private IP address as per my home network. So that is the reason you go to the Azure, you get the two IP address. Why they give you the two IP address? Because of one is public IP address and another one is private IP address. Are you understanding? So private IP address, you can talk internally only. That means if you're in that network, then only you can talk. But from outside, you cannot connect to that machines. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that concept, we call it a broader network access. Okay. Third characteristics, if you want to call your service as a cloud service, you have to do the resource pooling. Resource pooling means, I showed you one boxes here. Um, this box is somewhere here. So this boxes you have, at least 1,000 CPU you have here. Okay, but out of 1,000 CPU, if you demand 10, so today now if you are using now, then I'll give you 10 CPU now. But after that you stop it, I'll give the same CPU to someone else also. Okay, and then after that again has used it, I'll give the same CPU to someone. So it's like a pooling the resources. That means we are, because pooling the resources is become a cheaper actually. And the rapid elasticity. What does that mean? So rapid elasticity means you want the server to increase as based on your demand, or decrease based on your demand. Let's say billion sales is, I think is gone last month, I guess, right? So Flipkart need at least, let's say Flipkart was running on 100 boxes. Okay, now because of big billion sales, traffic will be 10x, right? So you have to increase the 10x the infrastructure also. How do you do that? So cloud, they will provide that functionality, rapid elasticity. That means if you want to run 1,000, you get it. If you want to run 1,000 to 10 also, you can do that. And measured services means anyone who's using the compute, okay, resources or storage resources. Networking is free resources, okay. BPN is paid, by the way. So high level resources in networking are free. So measure services means anyone who's using your resources, he should be measure how much he has consumed, and accordingly he has to pay for it. Okay. So for example, you are used 5 minutes or 1 hour or 10 hours. So that platform will monitor your activities and then accordingly charge based on that. So if you want to set up your own cloud computing in services, you need to offer these 5 services apart from that other stuff. Clear, all of you? All of you?
Yes.
Okay, so these are the 5 characteristics. At least 2 questions will be there from this slides. So please, I'll give you the dedicated URL for reading also of Azure, which will be talk about little bit in more detail for that. Okay, now we'll talk about the model. So this was the, you can say nowadays we have so many service model. Okay, so many service model, but this 3 model which we are studying from last I would say 12 plus years, 15 years I guess. But nowadays we have got so many models actually. Okay, so this 3 model we have IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. So I for infrastructure, P for platform, and S for service. Okay, so infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So apart from that, we do have a multiple model like container as a service, function as a service, you know, uh, Kubernetes, I mean, function as a service, SaaS, many other models has come. Okay, so what is this SaaS? What is the PaaS? What is the AS? So I think instead of talking this one, we'll talk about through images. This one will be good. So images will be wiser to visualize. So now these 3 models primarily we have, but nowadays you have lots of models you need to study. So here infrastructure. So infrastructure as a service means Azure is saying, hey, I will provide these services. I will provide virtualization means hypervisor. I'll provide your storage, servers, and networking. This is the foundation. Now, I'll provide a virtual machines, hypervisor virtual machines, but what you want inside that operating system. Middleware means you want to install, let's say, a database, runtime, let's say this is Java, okay, and this is DV, and this is 1.2, and then some data you will store and some application you run. So you take care of it. Whatever you want to do extra, you take care of it. So this is managed by vendor. This is managed by customer. Customer means this is you will take care of it, and this will be taken care by Azure. So this is called infrastructure as a service. Okay. Now in some of the situations we'll have a platform as a service also. That means Azure provide all these kind of services. They provide infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, function as a service, container as a service, you know, many things they provide it. So in this platform as a service, what they do, they say, hey, I will take care of all this thing including the runtime. Okay, just you need to come and store your data and run your applications. Okay, so this is something you can do, which is called platform as a service. Okay, for example, you are using queue services. So they are giving you entire queue services just to store your data and use the applications and get used to it. So here they are saying they will take care of it. So this will be taken care by Azure. Okay, and you will have to take care of this one. Now what is SLA? Anyone have idea what is SLA? All of you?
So the service level agreement.
Yeah, so do you anyone have idea what is the SLA for Azure? SLA of Azure services.
99.999.
Wonderful, yes. So look at this here, this table. You'll have a different SLAs. agreement which between you and then Azure. So most of the services, they will have a 99.99%. So these are the documents, but I want little bit of simple one. PDF I don't want. See that. So which SLA you want to see? So this is a very good graph, okay? And you should spend at least some time, because they will ask you questions like SLA from Azure. What is that SLA? They will give you 40%, 100%, and 96%, 99 point few percent. So you have to make it little closer, okay? Because SLA is depends on the services, not Azure. Azure is a platform services. So look at this here, left side you have at a high level they are offering the services, okay? And this is disabled, okay? So good slides actually. So here you see average SLA is, that means let's say you are running the one services and you have 100 days, okay? 100 days, out of 100 days, 99.929 days these services run, and it was down only for minimal this one. So this way you can see that last month, last year on. So SLA you should one questions will be there from that. So here what will happen? So why they are having this model? So now in infrastructure model they'll say, hey, I will have SLA for it. That means I will commit for this. But this I will not take care of it. If it is down because of application, data, runtime, middleware, and operating system, I will not take care of it. It's your responsibility. Okay, this is you. So same way, here they say, I will take care of this SLA for this one. But here I'll not take care of it. But now do have a model which is called software as a service. So software as a service where they say, hey, I'll take care of everything and I'll give you SLA for it. What you can do, only consume that applications. Okay. So example for software as a service, one of the simple example I would say Gmail. Gmail, you don't worry about where it's running, how it is running. Just to log in. That's all. One of the platform as a service, if you think many product has come recently. The popular product you might have heard about the SAP or ServiceNow. Okay, so these are the platform as a service. So you have application running, okay, by the software, I mean by the ServiceNow, and just as a customer you come, create your application, store your data and use it. And infrastructure as a service we are using where you can get only VM servers networking. Okay, so now this is something which we have. So now let's understand that at a high level. Uh, this is a nice slides actually. Lots of good information you'll have it. Apart from that, infrastructure as a service I said, right? Container as a service, function as a service also are there, and few more services are also got introduced this time. So this is a growing world. So now how do you do that actually? So here you can start that. So first you decide this slides you can use as like a decision making also, and good for interview also. They will say, okay, suggest me the deployment models, which one you would recommend. So you have to tell why you would recommend the virtual machines, why do you recommend the containers, why do you recommend the lambda functionless, why do you recommend the apps and all. So you have to give the reasoning for it. So let's say you are starting the new development, okay. Let me snip it actually here. So here you are starting the new development, okay. And is it a new development or is it a migration project? Okay, new development, again here you have to answer a question. Need VM level full control? If you need yes, then go for what? If you need a VM level control, then what you need to go for? Hello?
Uh, like you have
Ah,
to
yes.
Infrastructure.
install the VM, IAS.
Ah, yes, yes.
Infrastructure.
Yeah, infrastructure you need that. That means you go for the which one? Then you go and create a virtual machines. And I'll tell you, this slides will give you at least 5 6 answer of your interview and certifications also. Okay, now if you say no, okay, move on. Okay, migrations if you want, again, whether you are cloud optimized or you want to lift and shift model. Okay, so again, move on to this one, no. So again, they will have to ask you, uh, do you need event driven stateless short lived services? No. Yes. Let's say you say no. Then next question, vendors iPaaS runtime suitable and cheaper you need? No. Yes. If you say no here, and again have a Kubernetes DevOps skill then go for container as a service. Okay, so for container as a service, to understand, you need to know our Docker and Kubernetes. In a DevOps certifications, you must be having the Kubernetes knowledge. Let me tell you, in this session I'll not be able to teach you Kubernetes and Docker, but I'll be consuming these services. So prior to that, you need to have a knowledge on that. Otherwise, I'll create a services and I'll show you all the demos, and then you may think what exactly to do after creation. So huge cases you'll not be able to realize that. So it's very important you to parallelly run those technology also, but keep a note of it. You need to learn Docker and Kubernetes also. Okay, after that here, if you need event driven stateless short lived job, yes, and here you don't need this one, then here you can go for platform. So here you see platform as a service, and again, uh, can it be containerized? If you say no, vendor platform as a service runtime control you want, no, then you can go for function as a service also. Sorry, this was wrong. So this way it will help you to design your infrastructure need. Okay, cost is very important. If you don't select this right model infrastructure, or container or platform as a function, then your cost will be high. So there'll be many questions around it. This is the scenario, this is the scenario, this is the scenario. Tell me that which is the right model you want to go for it. Now you have to look for the uh, cost. You need to look for the skill sets before answering the questions, and then you will decide, okay, you can suggest, you can go for the infrastructure as a service, or container as a service, function as a service, or platform as a service. So this you have to decide. So I would suggest spend some time. Now coming back to the points, example infrastructure as a service like a virtual machines. If you want container as a service, then you can go for AKS, GKE for Google Cloud, EKS for ECS is not needed anymore. EKS is the one. Okay. Now here understand that deploy container on a cluster that you configure and manage. So if you want to configure and manage the containers in, and you want to have a control, then you can go for EKS or AKS. But here there's the opposite way. Containers on clusters managed and scaled by cloud vendors. Cloud vendors means Azure, AWS. If you want, then you have to go for apps runner and forget in AWS, apps in the Azure, and cloud run in Google Cloud. So for us, container apps, if someone will ask you, okay, tell me one thing, why should I go for container apps rather than virtual machines? So you can say, first of all, container apps, we are running containers means Kubernetes. Okay, and we should go for the container apps when we want the cluster management plus scaling also should be done by Azure, means vendor, I mean platform, not by us. We don't want to take care of that activity. So in that case, you can go for container apps. Are you getting my points, all of you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So now next thing is, they'll say, okay, why should I go for app services? Okay, what is app services? We'll discuss about it, but why should you go for it? So you should say, you want the, complete runtime control. That means I want to run the complete environment by the vendor, means Azure, and I just want to create application and data, and then I don't want to worry about the operating system, which operating system I don't want to worry about. I don't want to worry about the runtime means Java, .NET, C, C++, all this thing. I don't want to worry about it. All I want to worry about, I have one application, I want to run it and I use it, I want to store the data. So then you can go for app services. Okay, so here you see canned app runtime by cloud vendor platform. Now function is very popular nowadays. Okay, so function, which is basically I'll put it in a simple way. Let's say you write a one method, or one function. Function means function, simple. Function is method, function, some code. See, every code you see, every code in the planet Earth which you have learned so far, method, or I mean Java, Python, C, C++, all you have is a function, right? All you have a method. Let me show you here. Uh, just a second. Sample Java code. Look at this. And here you see what happened, huh? Look at this. This is a main method. So basically when you call this code, this main method get called. Sample Python code class code. Class code. Now here, if you see, this is, what is this? Huh. So you see that this is a method, default method. Okay, in it. Okay, and this is the custom method. Okay, in Python we call it function, by the way, but in Java we call it a method. Okay, so here what I was discussing here, function means you have a code and you just want to run it once or 10 times or 100 times in a day. So let's say 100 times if you run, so how much compute unit you need? Tell me. Each code will run, let's say, in 1 second. So compute time, how much you need for running 100 times that code? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, so like you mean each code is 1 second and 100 seconds?
Yeah,
100
100
100
seconds,
seconds?
simple.
seconds.
Now, it's, yeah, I know that you will answer, but I want you to realize this. Think simple, okay? And you have to answer this question in the interview also. I need 100 seconds for running 100 times my code, but this is the amount you used it. Now, let's say if you are having the VMs, think about it. So how many seconds in a day? Uh, uh, Convert 24 hours into second. How many? Look at this. You have to pay for this many seconds, whereas you use only 100 seconds. Look at this. So tell me how much you are wasting, you are doing resources. 99 point this much. I mean, just guessing actually. It's almost you are wasting the resources, right? Are you understanding?
Yes.
So what should you go for it? So that is where that function as a service. So in Azure, we call it a function itself. In AWS, we call it Lambda, and Google Cloud, we call it a cloud functions. Okay, so now each of the use cases you have to study. I'll share the resources in the chat. Okay, you have to go in detail, and each of these use cases you have to study, and important questions you should be answering in if you're architect design and all, it will ask for the certifications also and interview also, both. Why I should go for virtual machine? Why should I go for containers? Why should I go for app service? Why should I go for function? What are the benefits it will bring? Or they'll give you some scenario and they'll suggest the right model for it. Are you comfortable now, all of you?
Question, can you explain the app service again? I understand the container where you package everything and it'll take care of elasticity and all, but
Yeah.
app service is what? I didn't
Yeah.
understand that part.
So I'll put it in this way. Easy way, if I say, then so here what I did. I'll give you example. Here I have my hardware. Okay. On top of that, I install my operating system. Okay, understand that. On top of operating system, I install the Java Spring Boot. Okay, and done. And on top of that, what I did, on top of what I did, I installed one web front. Okay, what this web front will do? So now this is you, and you will access this web front, and you will say, hey, this is my code. You run it with the Java OS host. See, Java required the operating system required hardware. Agree with me? Now, what is this? This code you want to run 24 by 7. And now this code you are running here, this application runtime is here. And this code will be accessible by customer. So you will get one endpoint www.xyg.com. So this is your customer, they will access. Now technically tell me, this is you. Are you taking care of anything as such? No. You are taking care of only applications, only this one, this code, right? App service, correct now? And it's
Yes.
running everything. So now Azure is saying, hey, I will take care of this complete environment. Log into the website, which is Azure portal, deploy your applications, which will run it in our environment. We manage it, and then we'll give you an endpoint for that applications, that whatever web application mostly, and then you ask your customer to access that and use it. So now you have
So,
to worry only about this code, nothing, rest of the things you don't have to worry about it. Now let
oh,
me tell
so,
you here in
so, so in app service, you're spinning the whole VM, not like a
which one?
just partial container in app
Ah,
service.
no, 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 no. So that is the problem. App service will not create a VM. This is already exist. And what Azure will do? This guy is so clever. This will share with a multiple people the same environment. Getting my points? Are you understanding? So they will share this environment. So this common services for everyone. So everyone will be having isolation through some networking and stuff like that. So now everyone just deploy the app and use it. No need to worry. You decide, okay, I need Java 6. I want to run Java 7. So they have a pre-built environment, everything which is pooled, shared between the hundreds of other users, and then you can run it and get it done. Best example is SAP. Best example is SAP. Have you used the service now?
Yes.
Yeah. So ServiceNow, what they say, hey, I will take care of hardware. I will take care of your operating system. I will, I'll take care of runtime also. So this is a ServiceNow software. They'll run it on top of it, and they'll ask you to create an application of ServiceNow and then use it. Application for HR, IT, finance, support ticket, all this thing. You can create your own app over there and use it. So they are taking care of the runtime and everything. The only you are
Hmm.
coming with the creating app. Are you understanding?
Yes.
So this is the app service. In AWS we call it a beanstalk, and in Google Cloud we call it App Engine. Okay, so this is the different model. Sorry, services. What do you say? Delivery model, a service model, and now we have a deployment model. Deployment model means how can I deploy? I said no. You can deploy your own AWS also initially because everyone can deploy. So deployment model we have a private. Private means simply it's accessible only by the people whom you want. For example, your employer. So today you go to your office and say, hey, can we set up, we have hundreds of boxes lying hardware. Can we set up our private cloud? Private cloud means all the 100 boxes is lying, CPU is there, RAM is there, storage is there. Can we form a cloud? Cloud characteristics which I discussed, I hope you remember. These are the characteristics should be there for that. So can we deploy the cloud, our own cloud? So that is called private cloud. So which are the software which you can use primarily? So private cloud, if you want to set up, then you can use vSphere. Okay, very reliable one, paid one, but VMware vSphere. Okay, and then OpenStack is also having. You can use the OpenStack for it. So that is one thing. So private is done. Now public cloud. Public cloud means the one which can be accessed by anyone by any time. For example, do you want to access Azure now? Yeah, you can access it. You can register an account and immediately you can start it. No one needs any permissions for it. Anyone can use it. Again, you get the same characteristics of the public cloud. So we have many public cloud like Azure, we have AWS, Google Cloud, this Alibaba, Oracle Cloud, IBM Cloud, maybe few more I'm missing right now. So yeah, these are the public cloud. Now there is one more concept has come, which is called community cloud. What is community cloud? So guys, community cloud is basically conceptual conceptual cloud. Basically, you know that CNCF. Have you heard about the CNCF? CNCF. Apache. Have you heard about Apache?
Yes.
Yeah. So Apache is a foundation. CNCF is a foundation, Cloud Native Compute Foundation. So Kubernetes is owned by CNCF. Prometheus is owned by CNCF. This is the foundation. This is the latest generation of foundation. Then we had a old generation of foundation, which was Apache, which is offering all the free software. So now you should check this page actually. Whatever I'm saying, please spend some time because you need to comfortable with the ecosystem. So these are the product of CNCF, free. All these are free software. Okay, and primarily you will run all this thing actually sooner. So coming back to the question, so here, what is a community model? So community model means what happens? Many universities around the globe, okay, and the foundations around the globe, they say, hey, we'll set up a cloud, but this cloud will not be paid, but same time will not be private also. Okay, so public cloud is private paid, right? But community cloud will be free. Okay, and it can be accessible not by everyone but for only by the community. For example, IIM Bombay or IIT's Bombay, they decided we'll form a community cloud and our student can access this cloud from anywhere in the world. Okay, so that is community cloud. So, or maybe Stanford University or MIT, so they set up the community cloud for their own students. Okay, so that is called community cloud. Now hybrid cloud is a model in which what happens, you have a private cloud also and you have a public cloud also. Very interesting, right? So here let's say, I'll give you one scenario. Let's say you have a private cloud and then you have a capacity to run hundreds of boxes only in a private cloud because of data center limitation. Then what you will say, what you'll do then in that case? Okay, so then here what happens, we have lots of services, okay, which will allow you to use from the end user. I'll put it in this way. I'll draw some image, you'll understand better. So what will happen, let's say this is your private cloud and this is you. Private cloud is owned by your company, let's say DevOpsSchool. Okay, so now this is the consumer and they are saying this capacity is only 100 boxes. Okay, and now you decide, okay, I need 1000 boxes. So there is a limitation, correct? Now, so what will happen? So now people, instead of setting a private cloud, they set up hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud, what happens, they connect the private cloud, first connect the private cloud, and if the resources is done, and then if you want extra resources, hybrid cloud automatically get it from the public cloud and they serve this request. So that means hybrid clouds will have a private cloud option also, public cloud also. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is something which you have to also. I would suggest you spend some time here. Azure, how to connect. It's just informational level. You have to know that how to connect private cloud cloud with public cloud with Azure. So this question, just spend some time here. There are many services though you don't need for this session, this training, but you, for knowledge purpose, it's good to go for it. Okay, so here these are the gateway for it, and networking services we have. So many services we have which will help you to understand. At least 15-20 services are there, so it will take some time to come up. So at an information level, you just spend some time. Okay, so these are the some of the milestone dates for the cloud computing. So initially the buzz around started with AWS in 2002 July. Then the Azure beta got introduced in November 2009. Okay, so this is the one cloud, Google Cloud, which got introduced in April 2008. So these are the key dates in the history of cloud computing. Now, who's winning this race actually? So who's the leading cloud provider? So you see that a lot of cloud providers we have, and who's winning. So probably these slides will give you right picture. So this is the data up to the 2022 only. And if you look at this, the market share of Amazon is 34%, and Azure is 21%, Google Cloud is 11%, and next 20 companies, including Oracle, IBM, this one, I forgot this name, Chinese cloud, Alibaba and all, 25% and others. So these are the one. Now, if you look at this, I think this is the right pictures. Okay, so revenue from the one quarter is 65 billion. That means close to what is that? Almost $300 billion market which we have for the cloud computing. Correct now? Okay, so any questions so far, all of you? Hello?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so this is something build and operate. So cloud model is build and operate by the vendors, and you started consuming it. Now, what are the benefits of it? So guys, benefits, one questions will be there. So at a high level, these are the benefits. And they'll give you the multiple question, which are the benefits. So they'll give you one odd answer. You have to locate that. So if you don't remember that, the benefits, the points at least, then you will struggle reading and thinking and all kind of things. So I'll give you some set of questions also for that. So yeah, reduce the infrastructure cost very well. Capacity and scalability. Scalability means you can plan your capacity and scale up and scale down. Okay. Now, one of the benefit is refresh aging infrastructure. That is very important one. So let's say Azure, if I'll tell you an interesting thing, which is like what they do. They have a aging cycle actually for all this thing. So let me quickly go ChatGPT only. So Azure aging refresh durations. Okay, so for each and every resources they have a aging schedule. So whether it's working or not, it's not a problem. Even though if it's working after that certain age, they will destroy that services and put in the C, because your data is important. It's not coming the right results quickly. So they will destroy that and then keep it in the C, so no one can access that. Okay, so cloud is one of the things like your hardware is always up to date actually. You don't have to worry about it. And if you want to start a new business and immediately, you don't need to set up your own data center, support new business opportunity immediately, business continuity and increased collaboration. That means at a cloud you can increase the collaboration with other services also, and so on. Okay, so this is something like a the introduction of cloud. Any questions so far, all of you? Any questions, all of you?
So when you said aging refresh, Does that mean upgrading the hardware, right?
Of course, hardware. They refresh the hardware. I mean, not you Azure will refresh the hardware. Let's say there's a some table I wanted to show you. Let's say if storage is 4 years old, whether it's working or not working, gone. I mean, they will that take that hardware out of this data center, and they'll put it in C. I mean, they'll crush it very badly, and they will put it in a C and destroy. So there was many images actually. So I'll just share in the WhatsApp group. Okay, any questions so far, all of you?
So Docker and Kubernetes will not be touched at all.
So see, we are learning Azure, mastered in Azure DevOps. That means we are basically targeting the, see, we need to understand this way. Uh, uh, Here we are targeting the services of Azure. All the Azure services will be discussed. Let's say what exactly it's running inside it. Let's say you want to run Apache, Tomcat, MySQL, Docker, Kubernetes. So these is inside software. We will not be teaching you in this course. We'll be teaching you how to create, let's say, Kubernetes cluster. That's called AKS in Kubernetes. Or how to create all the services will be consuming it, because this course is around the services, not the tools and uses, programming language, scripting and all. It's not part of this. So Docker is a basically tool. Kubernetes is a tool which you have to learn to consume it. In this course, we'll talk about all the topics which is covered in the Azure DevOps. But apart from that, let's say example, I'll teach you how to create SQS. Okay, service example, Q service example. So Q service, if I ask you, this is how you to create, and this is how to consume, and this is the some of the FAQs for it, and cost and everything. So that one I'll teach you. Now in real time, programmers write a Python code or Java code for using that. So this Python coding and Java coding will not teach you. It's not a part of this course. Got it? Okay. Any other questions, guys?
It is like same with Docker as well.
That's what Docker. Okay, your question is Docker and Kubernetes, is it covered or not? So that will not be covered. It's not a part of this, not this course. This is not a part of Azure course itself. For example, Linux will not teach you, but you need to know to use the Azure. For example, any other services like you want to use AKS, you should know Kubernetes much in before to use AKS. We will teach the services on Azure as part of the certifications and the course. But each tools and technology, if you start teaching, it'll become a 2 years of course actually. Got it? Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So let's complete this one at a high level. Uh, so virtual machines. What is the virtual machines? I think most of us understand that, so no need to brag about this. Last session which we discussed about it, uh, how can you create virtual machines using Azure portal? And then and the last one more session we had where ask you to be comfortable with the command line options like PowerShell, Azure PowerShell, and so on. Now, yeah, so virtual machine, which is you create a virtual machine, you deploy the Windows or Linux machines. You can do through Azure portal. You can do through programmatically through the CLI or PowerShell. I hope all of you have deployed the PowerShell and CLI. Today I'll send you the some commands which will deploy the virtual machines and all. How to connect? So I think we have showed you the demo. You can do RDP for Windows machine. You can connect to the shell also, PowerShell for the Windows machine, SSH Linux. You can do that. So yeah, here which model is best for your workload depends. PaaS app service, which is higher agility, which is important, higher agility. But here, if you go for virtual machines, IaaS is a higher degree of control. Here, PaaS higher ease of management, and here IaaS higher support of legacy apps. PaaS lower degree of control, and IaaS again lower ease of management. PaaS lower support for legacy apps, and IaaS lower agility. So this is something we have. Things to keep in mind regarding Azure VMs. Unless the VM is deallocated, these are the some FAQs. By the way, I'll tell you, there's for each services, there are more than 200 FAQs are there, which Azure has maintained that record of it. I will suggest you at least read it, but these are the only important one. Okay, so unless the VM is deallocated, it is still incurring the charges. Okay, remember that. Okay, so related assets are charged separately. For example, uh, uh, related asset means you are using something like IP address, elastic IP address, that is chargeable again. You can't connect to VMs in other virtual networks. Okay, that means VPCs are there. So that way you can't connect to VMs in other virtual network. Deleting the VM does not delete the VHD. VHD means
The hard disk.
yes, hard disk. So many times what you think, you deleted a VM, and it has happened for me many times actually. I have lost lots of money because of that. So you create a 100 GB of disk, and you think you deleted a VM, is gone, and then it's running from last 3 months, 6 months. You never forget to log into that account, and then you keep paying for it, and it's deducting from your credit card. Now, next one is you can't connect without NSG rules, means network load, soft security group, which is there. And DNS name require creativity and should be standard. So you can buy one DNS. I would suggest you to buy everyone one DNS, one domain actually. Let's say your name, let's say if your name is Bivu, so you can buy bivu.com or something like that, domain name, or Jammy or Deepika or something like that, or Reddy.com or something like that. So this will cost you around $12, okay, for a year. So that will give you lots of confidence about to understand end to end. Basically, DNS record you have to understand as part of this course. So many people, what they do, they just read it at a high level, and do not create and use it. Just they read it at a high level and then recall it while preparing for certifications. So that is not good practice. It's just a $12. So you can buy this is for 1 year, and you can use it. Lots of learnings will be there. So yeah, a DNS name require creativity and should be standardized. So VM instance type and size. So what are the types we have? So basically there's hundreds of types available in Azure, so we'll not get lost in that. But yeah, uh, uh, this type will define how much CPU and how much RAM you want. I think we are comfortable for that. So you can basically VMs, you can uh, ask Azure to give the license of operating system, which you will be a part of your cost itself. Or in fact, you can get your own license also, which is this model which call it BYOL, bring your licenses. So okay, so you can capture and upload your own custom images as well. You can scale your VM instance size up or down to suit your workload. Okay, so these are the disk related things. Again, we'll discuss each and everything in detailed depth as part of this session. This is the high level information. So you can see the types of disk. So you have premium SSDs, you have standard SSDs, standard HDD, ultra disk, and many more, magnets and all. So these all in the changes are there in terms of cost and in terms of IOPS. What is IOPS full form? IOPS full form?
Input output. operation.
input output per second. Okay, so this called IOPS. So each IOPS are different, so charges are different. We, as part of Azure DevOps, we have to compare the charges because it's very important. You need to compare the multiple compute options available, disk options available, networking also, many things are there. So yeah, how do we deploy Azure virtual machines, which we did it. So typically you design for right one. Okay, so here you see that here you design for one network. Okay, and in the network you have a multiple subnets. So in this image you see how many subnets you have. So 3 subnets you have. Okay, uh, uh, SRP, CRP, NRP. Now in the subnet, each subnet you can have a different set of resources. So if you see that here in the front end subnet, NRP subnet, you have a network, and the network you have attached to, if you look at it little bit arrow carefully. So let me snap it and then it will be easy for me to explain it. So here if you see, uh, there is a very simple one. First, storage account, start with this one. So this is the first thing you have to do. Okay, and the storage account is basically will have a multiple different types of storage in it. That means, let's say this is your storage account. You will have a disk, you will have other types of blob storage. uh, what is this, object storage. You will have a network storage. By the way, what is a what is a on this one, let me write it, it'll be easy for me. What is a um, I forgot this, blob storage, network, and anyone remember this first one? Terminologies, I just missed it. Just a second. Mm, object storage versus um, network storage versus coming actually storage. I missed this word suddenly. Object storage versus network storage versus uh, not coming actually. Okay, got it. Yeah. So here, what is the difference between block storage versus network storage versus the object storage? Yeah, this is right. Do you know that, all of you?
No.
So this is very important you to understand when you talk about storage. I'm giving you high level information right now. So I'll put it in a simple way. Block storage means the storage which is attached to your laptop. For example I'm giving you stat to laptop. Laptop means that is a block storage. For example, your stat to your motherboard. Okay. Now network storage. So you can access this storage through the mounts and all. And network storage you can access through IP, and object storage you can access through HTTP. Example I'll give you for this at a high level. This whatever the storage you have built in your laptop, that is block storage. Network storage, let's say one laptop you have, you set up a network NFS server, and from other laptop you are accessing, that's called network storage. An object storage best example is Google Drive. Okay, so at a high level, this you have to study. Now, this image I want to show you in Azure. You need to remember this image. Just a second. So here, If I ask you, look at this here. If I ask you, hey, which I want object storage, then you should say, okay, go ahead and in Azure create a block storage. If I say I want the file storage, file means network, okay, then you should say, okay, we should go to Azure and create a file storage. Okay, understand that. And there's one thing which is object file, and what is object file and blob is not there. Okay, it's downside. I did not snip it actually. Okay, and if I say, hey, I want the block storage means simply you can say disk. Okay, so will you remember this? Now you need to also understand the technology behind this one, how the blob storage works, all the network storage works, and how the block storage works. Okay, now this is a just take a questions note for that. But if I say Azure, which one is good? So you look at the use cases here. So here, use cases typically you use for blob storage for storing the images, movies and all, and this is accessible through HTTP. File storage is accessible through the network, just now I talked, and disk is accessible within your system through mounts like OPT on whatever C drive, D drive and all. Are you understanding, all of you? Hello? Hello? I'm audible?
Yes, on high level, yes.
Yeah. We'll discuss in because this right now I'm covering at a high level. You will get it in detail, comparison and all. So we'll do that. So yeah, coming back to the question, storage account will have a different kind of storage. You will have object storage, blob storage, network storage and all. And this will be attached to your virtual machines, of course. And using availability set, you can create a multiple virtual machines. And here you can create a one network. Inside that you have a two network. And here if you see a little bit carefully, uh, you have a NIC, okay? NIC is network interface card, and NIC is attached to the subnet. So that means each subnet will have their own NIC. And also network security group. Okay, network security group means what? Any idea? Here security group means what?
More like a firewall.
Yes. So guys, there are basically two kind of firewall. Understand that at a high level. So here, this is your cloud. This is Azure. Sorry. And this is your VMs. Okay. So here there's a two kind of firewall we have. And this is your network. I'll change the color. This is your network. Now what is happening here? There is one firewall you have built-in operating system. Okay. This is called OS level firewall. Let me show you. Sorry. Here, this is OS level firewall. Okay. But there's one firewall at your network level. That network level firewall in cloud, we call it security group and a network, NSG. So remember that. So network level firewall will protect your network for incoming and outgoing traffic. This OS level firewall will protect your port number for incoming and outgoing. Here also it will protect the port, but network level, OS level. So here I'm not in Azure, do not manage the OS level because Azure IS infrastructure do not do anything inside OS. So they can manage through the network level firewall, NSG. So here in this image, if you see a little bit carefully, there's one NSG firewall attached to the subnet. That means network level. And this will protect all of your ports incoming and outgoing. Now you can connect the load balancer here, and which internally talk to the NIC from that transfer the traffic to here. And each again you have IP address and VM's IP, load balancer IP address. So you should plan, you should think started thinking about the designing where you have a network, you have an NSG, you have a NIC, you have a VM IP address, you have a load balancers, you have a VMs, you have a storage account, inside that multiple types of disk, you want multiple machines, you have to go for availability sets. So you have to start keeping all this consideration in the mind. Are you comfortable? All of you? Okay. How to connect your VM? So I think we know that RDP, the port number, please remember 3389 is a default port. Okay. And this will be allowed only if NSG you have opened the port. Again, two port, OS level port and network level port. What happens if you're using the quick start images, that in that OS level firewall is disabled by default. I repeat, disabled. But when you customize your own AMIs, then or machine image, then you can do that all stuff. So troubleshooting is this information is very useful. PowerShell put TCP is 5985 and 5986. 5985, 5986, what is that? Anyone have idea what is this port number for PowerShell? All of you? So
Is it
guys,
one secured?
no. So please remember that. See, let me create an image. So these are all the foundation you need to remember, else Azure will provide all the information, but you will not be able to visualize what should I do with that. So guys, this is the two machines in Azure. So this is the Windows machines, okay, and this is the Linux machines, okay, Windows and Linux. Now this is you, okay, this is you. Now you have to decide first. This is the scenarios they may create in their certifications also. So this is you. First of all, do you want Windows access? Come to this side. Do you want Linux access? Come to this side. Windows access, again, you have to decide. You want the UI? I'm not able to draw properly. So UI or you want command line? Okay. So if you want the UI, then which protocol? Windows? Hello? Which protocol? Guys, we have to tell these are all the fundamental of the not Azure but computing. Hello?
What is the question, sir?
The question
It's
One
is,
second.
yeah, please, I'll repeat one more time. So here, this is a Windows machine, this is a Linux machine hosted in Azure. Okay, this is you. So first you decide to connect to Windows. So there's a two option, UI options, GUI options, and command line. So UI options, if you want to connect through the UI, GUI to Windows, what is the protocol you used?
33 RDP.
Or
Protocol, RDP, yes, RDP. And if you want to connect to the command line, which protocol to use?
Command line.
Command line.
Shell.
No. Command line
SSH.
protocol, I'm saying.
Okay.
No, that's for Linux, no. So guys, please remember WinRM. What is that?
okay.
WinRM. Okay, so that's a protocol. Okay, this RDP protocol, this is a TCP RDP protocol, this is a WinRM protocol, this is HTTP protocol actually. Okay, I repeat, HTTP protocol. This is the TCP protocol. Okay, so please
Mm.
remember that this is the stuff. Now the port here, this is what I was talking about. What is the port number for RDP? So here the 3389, that means where you'll open up this port number, where you'll open up. Just now I talked about it.
Uh, to that virtual machine, network
No,
security.
network security, yeah. So you need to remember this one. We need to open up at network security NSG. Okay, and for WinRM, what is the port? So guys, here we have a two port. If you see that this image, you have a two port. Where is that? somewhere's gone. So 5985 and 5986. So here we have 5985 and 5986. Now why we have a 286? Why we have two? This is the question they will ask. Why the, and this is not something Azure session. Okay, this is the fundamental of Windows connecting to the remote machine. So 5985 is HTTP protocol port, HTTP port, sorry, HTTP port, and 5986 is your HTTPS1. I told you, HTTP based WinRM. So these are the two protocol. So if your machine is having enabled HTTPS, then always remember 5986. If you have HTTP, 5985. Will you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. So take a note while many things, so it'll be easy for you. Okay, so now coming back to this, let's complete this. So yeah, if you want to connect to this one, so which protocol in Linux? Tell me quickly, please. Which protocol?
SSH 20.
SSH.
SSH
And port number 22.
20.
Yes, so you need to open 22 port if you want SSH. You need to open a 3389 port if you want RDP, and if you want WinRM PowerShell 8985 or 8986, depends on your SSH or HTTPS, HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, so remove this input, which will help you. So done. So connect to your Linux box VMs SSH with the key or password, RDP, NSG, and all stuff like that you have to discuss actually. Okay, so demo in the last session I discussed actually, so I'll just ignore it. And a few demos is pending, so which I'll do that in the next session. Okay, so any questions so far, all of you?
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.